It's so nice to see familiar faces out in the crowd. It's so nice to see friends of mine enjoying themselves. And everybody get happy, 'cause we can work it out. We are friends, friends, friends.
And there had always been plenty of outreach programs going on at St Mary's, but when I got here in the summer of '85, I found that they were sleeping people in the church. There were probably 50, 60, or perhaps a few more homeless people around Laguna Beach at the time. Numbers not so very different from what we have now. And when you get to know homeless people as people, then you begin to see all kinds of possibilities and discover that they are themselves looking for a change.
I was as alone as I had ever been.
I had used up all of my resources, friends, family.
I just reached that all-time low, that spiritual low where I didn't care if I lived or died.
I didn't have any clothes, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a relationship with my children, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any direction, and most of all, I didn't have any hope.
So I was living in a treehouse. I had been there for about 3 months, 3.5 months, and I started going to AA meetings. The people who owned this, I guess, property at one point had put this cover on it so that essentially you could, it's like a treehouse, but it rained and the top of it had never been strong enough to actually withstand rain, and I got drenched. Someone at a meeting had heard about Friendship Shelter, and she said that she'd never been there, didn't know very much about it, but it seemed like a place that could essentially help me get back on my feet and get my life back on track. And so about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, my sponsor is driving me down to Laguna Beach, a place I've never been to the Friendship Shelter. Yeah.
When people come to Friendship Shelter, they're as different as any of us are, but one of the things they have in common is that they're broken. Things have conspired in their lives, some of the things in their control, some things out of their control, that have led them to this rock bottom. And they come to us frightened. They never imagined they'd be in a homeless shelter. And that's really the difference between you and me and the people that end up at Friendship Shelter. We face many of the same problems. We face addiction in our families. We face mental illness in our families. We face loss of jobs, loss of income in our families. But we have the security and the safety of our home and our support system. And our clients don't have that.
I didn't care if I lived or died. I just knew that I couldn't go on like that anymore. The thing that kept me from dying, the thing that kept me that time is I thought my poor mom, she's gonna have to bury her son or lose her. That made me decide that I didn't want to die, that I want to at least stand up and become a man, and I just needed a helping hand, somebody to do that for me, and I found that here at the Friendship Shelter.
So I won't try to remember what I need to forget, 'cause I don't want to surrender to a life of regret.
There are times when I just wanted to run and give up and go to what I know works best, to drugs and alcohol, and the staff reached out several times when they see me hurting like that, and they see me down there, JR, are you okay? They pull me aside and talk to me. I think that made the whole difference.
We know that there's as many as 4,000 people every night on the streets, and as many as 12,000 people every year that experience homelessness in this community, and that's way too many.
The primary work that Friendship Shelter does, and historically has done, is what we call our self-sufficiency program. And the components of that program are really geared to get the opportunity to get resettled, to get their finances better organized, and in the process start to feel part of an opportunity for meeting people and having friends around you.
You know, Friendship Shelter has a combination of both the compassion, but the skill to really move people from homelessness into more permanent housing. And that's something that the Friendship Shelter does extremely well.
I've settled on the idea that we can be a model for other communities and be an example of how they too can tackle new projects for serving the homeless.
One of the many things that this place has given me is self-esteem and a sense of self-worth.
The shelter was a godsend to me, really.
I have 3.5 years of sobriety. I am a father. Everything you see on me, my whole makeup is because of the Friendship Shelter.
I am now self-employed. I paint homes, remodel homes. I have an employee or sometimes two working for me, and I'm doing well. I'm doing very well.
I mean, we all have our stories, you know. I didn't think I was ever gonna get my own place again. I mean, that seems like such a trivial thing, but for me that was huge. And I have my own place now. Friendship Shelter taught me that it's like a step-by-step process.
I think it was Mahatma Gandhi who said, be the change in the world you want to see. I'm a big believer in karma. You do good by people, good things are going to start happening to you. I chose my profession because of what I do right now. For people like the residents we have at the shelter, it's not a matter of why. I mean, why not?
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place yours.